Good day guys, come here, welcome back to Langrisser M news from the future. So on part 3 and last part of this video for the month of July to August in the CN server 2025, we present to you SP Bozel. The prince has become the demon lord. Okay, before we carry on, the great thanks for information shared and provided by the Langrisser mobile app. More on so are you guys ready? Here we go. So right, before we go on, I gotta say this has been one of the best, or if not the coolest, SP design release for the characters so far. I mean, look at the armor. So the original Bozel is like wearing a helmet and a light shoulder armor, then wearing a cloak, then you don't see anything below that. It's kept in mystery. So there's like after he rip off the cloak and show you this is how strong and macho I am, with Alhazard on his hand, and congratulations, he's finally, unlike his game counterpart, only able to hold on to Alhazard for no more than 3 seconds or 3 turns as a joke. Well, this is an actual Alhazard, and in his hand, this form of Alhazard looks cool. Okay, without further delay, let's go through the talent and skills and watch to the end for the translations I've done for you guys. Here we go. Okay, definitely very cool. Like I said, the design, all the diamonds shine bright like a diamond. And a menacing helmet that has a pair of eyes staring on you. Okay, it's quick background story. It says after failing and losing in 1,100 of years of reincarnations, Bozel finally got his hands on Alhazard, the demon sword, and used the power of demon sword to summon chaos and cause the world to fall into eternal night of darkness purgatory. The great power of chaos feels through his bones and blood. He will crush the dreams of the glory of light as the demon emperor. He will summon tens of thousands of demon tribes and send the old world into requiem with their iron hoof storming. Now, this is just a loose translation, so let's not get too much. Okay, this is his SP Bozel form. Just for your information, he is a demon class, and before you guys might be saying, oh gosh, demon class weak against holy unit, don't worry guys, you're in for a treat. Okay, let us focus. SP Bozel, known as Supreme Darkness Demon King or Absolute Darkness Demon Lord. Okay, his description: getting the concentration from great power of chaos, the wielder of the demon blade, Alhazard, the rulers of tens and thousands of demon tribe, and the absolute demon lord. So okay, this is a description for his class. I definitely like these characters. The chibi, the design sees more. As you can see, the helmet, the menacing helmet on this form, it looks like a dragon. However, on another chibi art by which you guys will be seeing later on, it actually looks more like chaos. Okay, we'll find out later. Okay, about his talent. So I won't say extreme makeover, but a higher upgrade compared to his original counterpart. Okay, talent is, so watch the end for the translations again guys. Hey, talent, Dark Demon Overlord at rank 6. The effect are as follows. Number 1, skill you can bring, ignore cost limit. Number 2, unit, ignore class advantage. Number 3, replace 1.5 times of your of your intelligence. Replace your intelligence with 1.5 times of your magic defense instead. Number 4, when using skills, if there is any enemies with 3 or more debuff effects, the following will happen. First, the positions the enemies stand on will be treated as the castable skill range. Second, when you attack, ranged soldiers unit will attack together. 5. After dealing damage to enemies, cast a random debuff to the enemy's unit. So they retain the old version of Bozel, which is from the 3rd and 5th effect. 3rd is replace intelligence using 1.5 times of your magic defense instead, and after dealing damage, cast a random debuff on the unit. These are the same. The upgrade is, well, number 1, you ignore skill cost limit. You can bring your 3C followed by another 2 2C skills, which add up to 7 with no drawbacks. And second is units ignore class advantages. This means even he is a demon class unit, you will not receive the 1.8 times class advantage from the holy unit. And some new mechanism they introduce is if enemies has 3 or more debuff effects, they will be treated as your skill range cast point, and your skills attack, ranged soldiers will attack together, so you will be dealing full damage. That's pretty cool. Okay, the Rickstone here is just explaining that when using 3C skills, if enemies has 3 buff and above, the positions that they're standing will be treated as your castable range 2. Okay, this is pinpoint here because characters like Slaina and Prince Elvis from the previous banner, they have immune to either cast or target effect or damage and immunity to skills effect. However, the 3C can still affect them, which don't worry, we'll explain on part 2 of the video. So this time around is quick and easy. We do not have 3 parts, only 2 parts. Okay, exclusive skill 1. Okay, Alhazard's Breath or Demon Sword's Breath is a 2C skill, a CD of 2 turns, the range is 2 block. The AoE type is magical single target, so one is a single target and the other one is AoE. Okay, the effect as follows. Number 1, attack and deal 1.6 times damage to target enemy. Number 2, before battle, cause the block of the positions the target enemy currently stands on to gain a 2-turn terrain effect known as Shadow of Chaos. Okay, the terrain Shadow of Chaos has the following debuff effect. First, cause enemy that stands on the terrain positions to have the terrain defensive effect reduced by 20%, or when the terrain do not have defensive effect, it will become a minus 20% terrain instead, or minus 20% defensive terrain instead. Okay. Second, when enemy move and end turn on the terrain, they will gain a random debuff effect. Third, this terrain has a higher terrain coverage priority. So yep. So pretty okay, everything sounds so cool, a lot of pros, until you find out that the terrain effect is only 1 block. To be honest, I'm not sure how much you can do with 1 block. I mean, if I'm an enemy, I'll definitely, unless I have mobility debuff, if not, I'll definitely bypass or walk away from that 1 block. it is not possessing too much of a threat. I would say it would be great, however, if they change to a common aura that gave 3x3 blocks, 2x2 or 3x3 at least. Enemies that stands around it will have debuff effect. That would be great or better. But well, sadly, it does not work this way. Yeah. So again, from the developers, they do say, Shadow of Chaos, regarding the defensive terrain. If let's say the enemy is standing on forest, that will give you 20% defensive terrain effect. It will become 0 because it reduced by 20%. However, if they're standing on terrain or blocks unit like plain flatland that do not give any defensive buff, it will instead become minus 20%. So in a way, enemy stats, defensive stats reduced by 20%. And correct me if I'm wrong, that if you stand on forest or castle, the defensive effect they give should be for both physical and magic defense. Has too much stuff for Langrisser. I even forget some of the basic stuff. If that's the way, this is pretty cool. If not, if only for physical defense, it's not so useful, in my opinion. So any one of you who know or remember about this, do leave it down in the comment sections below and fill me up. Thanks. Okay, exclusive skill 2, definitely the better one, is known as Chaos War Tide. Okay, as a 2C skills, has a CD of 5 turns, the range is 3 blocks, the AoE type is magical 4 blocks. The effect are as follow. Number 1, attack and deal 0.36 times AoE damage to enemies in range. Number 2, damaged enemies will have one of their buff convert to random debuff effects. Number 3, applied to damaged enemies for 2 turns, this debuff effect known as Chaos Wrath. It provides the following debuff effect. It provides the following effect. First, buff enemy will obtain will be converted to random debuff effect instead. Second, when the spell skills are being cast, this debuff will not be dispelled first. So right, allow me to explain. So first off, 0.36 times AoE damage is definitely above average because the usual is 0.3 times. This is 0.36, still higher than your 3.5 but lower than Earthquake, 0.44. Second, it's damaged enemy will have, well, sadly it's only one, but well, better than nothing. One of their buff will be converted to a random debuff effect. And third is about Chaos Wrath. So Chaos Wrath is enemies that get Chaos Wrath debuff will give an example. For example, enemy has a Bernhard and Leon. Both are from the Empire factions. So Leon already has Chaos Wrath debuff effect previously. Then so now Bernhard is trying to cast the Empire faction buff. So as long as Leon has Chaos Wrath effect on him, if Bernhard casts faction buff, it will give him 5 buff effect. But instead of getting the buff effect, all 5 will be converted to debuff effect. So this is very cool and strong. I'll definitely agree. This is a very cool and strong point here. Last is about the spell skills. So if let's say Leon has 2 debuff effect. One is not able to heal, and one is Chaos Wrath. And if they are their own allies trying to cast a single healing skills to heal Leon, so the single target healing normally will randomly dispel off one of the debuff. So instead of dispelling Chaos Wrath, not able to heal will be dispelled instead. In short, under normal situations, Chaos Wrath will be the last debuff effect to be dispelled. So take note, this is definitely not the best. I'll say, as you can see, I'll say they slightly did my man Bozel here a bit dirty. I mean, none of it's already at, you know, coming to 7th anniversary SP form. This is the last SP we had before the 7th anniversary, and yet it's kind of mediocre. I'll say sorry, mediocre. Sorry. So he do not has any effect that make him able to, well, we call it, last for a few seasons. Definitely, we're talking about PvP. For PvE wise, definitely he will be great. But for PvP wise, he do not have effect that says this effect cannot be immune nor dispel. So this pick definitely put Bozel at a weaker positions, in my opinion, because if you met up with characters like Liana, she will be able to do a lot of dispel against debuff in a turn. So even if Chaos Wrath is the last to be dispelled, given Liana's ability, she can dispel like between 3 to 5 debuff effects, and of course with assistance of equipment. Then Chaos Wrath will not be a big deal. So if these situations come up, it kind of becomes a joke. So overall, I'll say the skills given are not too bad, but I guess Zilong is afraid that players focus too much on the older generation's hero, that they will not be willing to spend more on the new heroes. What do you guys think? This is just my opinion, because exclusive skill 1 has great potentials, but the terrain effect is only 1 block. I think it will work better whether be it 2 to 3 blocks command aura effect, or it gave a 2x2 to 3x3 terrain debuff. Instead, they will pose greater threats towards or against the enemy. Okay, last but not least, before we end the first part, these are the new obtainable soldiers unit. Yep, Spider Demon Elf, so Spider Demon Elf unit. So overall, I feel none of the soldiers unit really has great assistance towards Bozel, because as more, if not most of us, we have played Bozel over the years. He is more AoE spammer. You will definitely use him for normal attacks on certain occasions, but as an AoE spammer, there is not a soldiers unit that being released for Bozel to allow him to, you know, do increased AoE damage, or, you know, when upon dealing AoE damage will cause additional debuff for him to maximize his potentials. Characters like the sniper that will cause you to, you know, all your skills will become a straight line effect, but in return you will gain damage increment. Bozel is not able to have that soldiers unit equipped for him, so he loses out some of the potentials, where the soldiers unit, more if not most of them, are for single target attacks. So overall, I feel they don't really fit up what Bozel's need. I hope during the 7th year anniversary there will be a soldiers unit that will be compatible with Bozel's, that will like provide damage increment or additional debuff when the heroes is using AoE damage. This again, my opinion. Last but not least, alright, chibi artwork by Meow Xiao to Liana aka Granda Curry. So this is the chibi artwork. As you can see, the front helmet version of Bozel actually kind of resembles the skull or the head of Chaos himself, where the purplish eyeball is like staring the enemies into abyss. So it's pretty cool. As you can see, the armor design overall is definitely one of the coolest SP form we have received thus far. Like of all the new characters, I give like Bozel the best credit design. And of course, that's it. We have come to the end of part 1. Now we'll be going to part 2, and here we go. Alright, welcome to part 3 of the video. And before we carry on, a great thanks to information shared and provided by the Langrisser Data Bank, 梦幻伪战资料库. And what you're looking at right now, it's a positive meme. So as you guys can see on the left, the first icon is Earthquake. The second picture is the 3C of Bozel. And third pic, it says me, the Dark Prince. For AoE, give it a thumbs up. So why is this so? We'll be going through, and stay tuned to find out. Here we go. So regarding why were we talking about Earthquake? Because with SP Bozel, Earthquake has received a big upgrade with Bozel. So as everyone knows, Earthquake is one of the strongest AoE skills, 0.44 times, but it will almost never do any damage to flying unit. Well, after all, flying units are on the skies and Earthquake is on the ground, similar to, well, Pokemon. So theory, so as you guys can see this original pictures here, this is a normal Bozel casting Earthquake. So you can see normally you will just do less than 10 damage. And apparently, by the official Langrisser rule, it does state that because of the class advantage and disadvantage, stay with me guys, and some of you might already know what I'm trying to say. Based on the original class advantage and disadvantage rule, the damage that Earthquake do to flying units is minus 100%. This is why it's negative. So this is the following text is about Earthquake. So okay, the trigger type and the skill type is when against flying unit, it's negative 100%. Well, because they do not work. Okay, then this following is, well, with help and assistance from Gay Succubus, Eve. SP Bozel has been changed to Archer class. Okay, Earthquake is still minus 100%. However, you receive a 30% damage increment for that cost advantage, and the damage, as you can see below, I'm not gonna zoom in again because it's just a very short thing. So you do 300 plus, so that is like a 30%. So you deal a little bit of damage. However, now guys, once you transform to SP Bozel, his talent, so in the game, talent more, if not most of the time, is the higher or highest priority effect. SP Bozel ignore class advantage relationship. So even when you cast Earthquake, you will ignore the advantage and disadvantage the skills has towards flyer units, and now you can use Earthquake against flyer class. And well, I'm gonna zoom in now. The below is a proof. That's pretty cool, and of course definitely we will try and find out more during the actual demo play itself. Earthquake, did you guys notice the damage? Whoa. Yep, you definitely can see it is a few thousand. I'm not sure what's the stats given here in the demo, but on my actual it will be his intelligence will be at least 1004, 1005, and we'll be able to see more. And regarding his 3C, his 3C states Bozel is the point of release of the skills. So does this work with his talent about enemies with 3 debuff or more? Will they be the cast range? The answer is yes. It will trigger any enemies with 3 debuff or more will be treated as his skills points of release. And okay, something that's highlighted in red, very important things to take note. That is, if the enemy, despite characters like Epsilon, with a third generation characters, Epsilon, he has an effect that will make him invisible. So they cannot be a point of attack or target for skills. And also characters like the latest Darkness 3C faction buffer, Slina. Okay, as long as they have 3 debuff or more, the condition is met with, they will still be able to be the point of targets for skills release for SP Bozel. So I'm going to show you with the following clip, and of course if you don't understand, you guys still don't quite understand, we will do it during the actual demo play for SP Bozel. So okay, the following debuff as explained, so we're going to give an explanation first. One of the latest hero is Prince Elvis from Echo of Toy War. His talent effect has a invisible buff effect. However, he already has 3 debuff, and this is also additional 2 debuff from command aura of SP Bernhard, and and 1 debuff from Landis command aura effect too. So enemies still not able to be targeted with other skills like Black Hole and Earthquake. However, they can still be the casting point of release for 3C, and they will still need to take damage. So as seen here, so I'm not sure if it is a bug or it will be fixed later on, but currently it has been tested towards the end of the banner release already. So you guys can see the first option is try to click on Earthquake. You cannot target enemy, but if you click on your 3C, okay, Elvis already has 3 debuff effect, you can trigger and they will first be damaged, and second they will take in debuff effect. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so not so bad for Bozel, but as you can see some of the sample below, it's SP Bozel will still heavily relies on support assistance from allies to provide debuff effect before his talent can actually work smoothly. So definitely some cons in my opinion. Okay, the next example is for Slina. When she has 3 debuff effect, is the same. She cannot be targeted by Earthquake, but she can still be a release point from 3C, despite she has her talent summon the Reef Portal that will immune her with AoE damage. Okay, some pros and some cons. The cons is Slina will not take 3C damage as long as the Time Reef Portal is alive, she will not take 3C and debuff. However, allies around her will still need to take damage and debuff effect, so well, she can avoid this. So okay, the below is the example. So instead of Elvis, we have Sliner. Let me replay again. So you can see, again, first you try to cast Earthquake. You cannot target her, but if you use 3C, so Sliner will not take damage, but the allies and the Portal Reef will take damage. The same goes for Suffering, who just received her exclusive items that will cause her summons to not be targetable for skills and attack. But as long as they have 3 debuff, it's still the same thing. So I guess I'm not going to just show again. Everyone's effects counts, so it's the same. Single target skills cannot work, but 3C work. And okay, now we go to talk about the stats and items build. So right, we are at well, coming to a close. So SP Bozel, this is the stats. So we can compare that a great increment in HP, in defense and magic defense, and also in skills, but just 3 points, not a big difference. Okay, SP Heartborn effect. When you are at a class of Dark Demon Lord at level 4, when you receive attack and goes into battle, physical damage reduced by 10%. Level 7, when unit battle with any enemy's unit with debuff effect, increase your damage by 10%. Oh gosh, not a great effect. I'll say either of the bond. So the first bond is when you go into battle, physical damage reduced by 10%. Physical attacker, a lot of them are not ranged, so not much, and it's not generic enough, so you'll still be taking damage from magic defense. So magic attack, I mean, despite we know he has great magic defense, but well. And level 7 is against debuff unit. Again, you need to go into battle to enjoy damage increment of 10%. Again, that is a bit BS. I'll say it's boo, because I mean, we've gone through so much of his skills. He is definitely more, if not most of the time, an AoE attacker. So I would prefer them to give us, like, you know, when using AoE skills against debuff unit, damage will increase by 10%. That will be even better. Okay, Supreme Demon Lord or Extreme Demon Lord. His mobility is only 3 blocks. Attack range is 2 blocks, and his moving pattern is flying unit. So faction buff is still the same, only 2, Darkness and Mythical, sadly. Okay, for any new players who are still not too sure, the debuff effect that the SP Bozel will give is the following. Are from the following. So I'll go in according to for 6 debuff. The first type, not able to use active skills. Second, disable passive skills. Third, not able to receive healing. Fourth, not able to receive buff effect. Fifth, mobility reduction and not able to guard. 6, when you end turn, you'll receive 20% of fixed damage based on 20% of your HP. So his debuff do not have effects like stats reductions. So it's like a lower tier black hole debuff effects. Okay, talking about exclusive skills too, Chaos Wall type. So the terrain. So okay, whether it's a flat land or a defensive terrain, as long as you attack before battle, you will cause this effect to trigger. So the defense that states here will be minus 20%, so they will take higher damage if the defense reduce both physical and magical defense. Okay, as you can see, I'll say from the biggest downside is only a one block terrain. This is I guess they did it nasty for Bozel, my man. And okay, these are the following debuff effect that the terrain can provide. And of course there are some rules that according to the rule of the skills is before battle you will be casting this terrain effect. This means that before the battle you already gave a debuff effect on the enemy. So that's okay, pretty cool. So going according, number 1, minus 20% attack intelligence. Number 2, reduce 20% defense. Number 3, reduce 30% magic defense. Number 4, damage deal reduced by 20%. Number 5, damage received increased by 20%. 6, not able to use active skills. 7, not able to use passive skills being sealed. 8, not able to receive healing. 9, not able to receive buff. 10, mobility reduction of 2, not able to guard. 11, when you end turn, you receive 20% fixed damage based on your max HP. And the last 2 only last for 1 turn, so take note. Oh, however, there has been explanations on one of the pro players channel that explained that for exclusive skill 2, Chaos War type, there is a downside is if enemy currently has 3 debuff effect, then but let's say when you goes into battle with this range skills, if before battle there is any skills that trigger that have 1 or more debuff effect being clear off or dispel off, which will leave you with less than 3, 2 or lesser, Chaos War type would not work. Sorry, not Chaos War type, the exclusive skill one, Alhazard Breath, Demon Sword, will not be able to attack enemy. You treat it as the range is not there, you'll not be able to reach enemy. This is not a bug, this is an official ruling. So personally, I'm not a fan of exclusive skill 1. Alhazard Breath, in my opinion, is quite bad, despite some of the benefits, but it is a skill that sounds so cool with the pictures of Alhazard, but gives so much restrictions. Exclusive skill 2 on the other hand is definitely better, above average, but not the best, because the effect can be dispelled. It would be great if they said the effect cannot be dispelled and immune. That would be much cooler. And okay, this is some of the, after you unlock, this is some of the SP soldiers unit he'll be gaining. Of course, some has not received their SP unit form yet. but definitely they will be coming soon. And okay, to support him, definitely gonna get his exclusive item, because after dealing damage, deal 1 random debuff on the enemy. Casting is, well, not too bad, but well, definitely not too that great. Okay, conclusion. So we're coming to the end. So this is a suggested item build, and on the left is 2+2. It is double blue. So double blue enchant of double 2 of different type provides 10 or 20% magic defense. This definitely highly increase Bozel's intelligence after converting 1.5 times on magic defense. On the right is taunts, while trying to give Bozel more HP, and at the same time, if he's gonna die, he'll try his best to bring the enemy down with him after giving some debuff. And this is some of the evaluations. So as you can see, he's only 4-star, above average, but not 4.5 to 5. So definitely not tier 1 to tier 0. Better than. On the left, I also suggested item build. I'll go with for weapons. I'll go with the one on the middle, the evil thought detector, the purple stuff that will give debuff effects. Second, definitely that exclusive. Third, Tenure headdress to buff your allies. There has not been any helmet that give effects that when you damage enemies, they will get certain debuff effect. So too bad. Then accessories is still the usual. Bracer for extreme health, higher health, and magic defense and intelligence stats, or you can give boots for greater distance. And that's it. We have come to the end. What did you guys think about SP Bozel? Personally, I feel more can be done for my man Bozel, but sadly he's an older generation's hero. I guess Zilong's don't want players to focus too much on older heroes. If not, no one will be pulling the newer heroes. But oh well, sadly, but nonetheless, it's definitely not too bad. PvE wise, he can do a lot of things, because a lot of new heroes, they can, you know, give debuff effect now, but at the same time there are also new effects that states cannot be immune nor dispel. Those effects, despite being a rig icon, is not a debuff effect, so maybe good, maybe bad. So not sure how it is. Hopefully everything plays right for Bozel, and hopefully we can see great performance from Bozel during the next upcoming Apex playoff and the CN servers. So this is Kami. If you like the channel, give a like and subscribe. See you guys, and goodbye.